We're live, right? There was a ding. And another ding. So I think we're definitely live now. It's EuroScrum, and it's Sam and Yarrow. Yarrow, how are things with you?
Excellent. I had a little break over the weekend, had a lovely trip to St. Petersburg to learn that everything is fine in Russia and St. Petersburg is just great, looks great and sounds great and everything is good. Now back to Griffin, back to the projects, and yeah, we had to postpone the meeting for community portal. And so, but we're planning to do a kickoff meeting tomorrow or on Friday. We'll finalize it over today and tomorrow.
Great.
In the Slack channel. And that's about it. Oh yeah, and also finally Amal has got some free time and he has started sort of movements on Workspace on Air because I've asked him to be the project manager and sort of with myself as a tech lead. But he was busy for the last couple of weeks, and yeah, hopefully things will start moving faster now.
Yeah. Good show.
Yeah, so that's it. No blockages, everything is fine. I'm sort of ready to carry on.
Great stuff. Okay, yeah, we'll just do me. Big things. Just last. I mean, I re-recorded the intro video for AV102. That's gone live. We've got people coming into the Slack thing. I wonder if Thomas has actually already sent out invitations to people. Anyway, so we've got some, people who are starting to do the AV102 course. I don't really have time to polish the course effectively at the moment, which is kind of irritating. But there seems to be a reasonably positive vibe. I mean, I guess part of the thing is that yeah.
So has it started already? The AV?
Yes. Yes, it has.
All right. Okay. So
yeah. So you can access it and start watching the videos. Yes. Yeah. Anyway, and I'll be sort of getting that gradually sorted out. We'll see. I mean, I kind of feel bad in some ways that I can't really spend the time on it to take the course to the next level. But I think there's at least some stuff in there that people can get value from, and it's important for Agile Ventures. As another route for people coming into the system. I mean, also we need to recruit the TAs for the MOOC, and particularly people to take over from me because I can't put so much time into the MOOC. Anyway, that's basically under control. I'm continuing to do local sports refactoring and blogging about that in the background. I've finished doing the Cucumber things. Thanks for your feedback on the my article. I've added a summary at the beginning and tightened the whole thing up.
Cool. I'll have another go then.
Yeah, and I got some good feedback from Christian. And I'll carry. I feel like also actually, since I can't really pair with people on the train, my substitute for pairing is blogging, and so we'll probably see some follow-up articles on that. Other things I've got today, I'm working late at Agile Ventures, so that might be available for pairing later in the evening once the Agile Venture, Makers Academy, once the Makers Academy work is out of the way. I've got the Autograders meeting at 4 p.m. UTC. Local support meeting tomorrow at noon UTC. Yeah, just bits and pieces. Hopefully, it will all hang together. Yeah, I think that's about it for me. I guess the other thing is for you and I to talk. I'd say was the only other thing that we have on the agenda.
I guess we could, yeah. One question though, are those people coming to general channel, are those the guys from the AV102 course?
Yes, I think many of them are. Not necessarily all of them, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And but Thomas has arrived. Hey Thomas, how are you doing?
Just fine, thank you.
Yeah, did you want to, Yara and I just went, but did you want to give us your summary of what's going on?
Yes, well, I've been working on some updates to the project pitch editor. There are some small UI things and also some testing issues. So I'm just doing some updates. I want to create a little pull request and just rearranging some stuff.
Right.
That is, but the big thing is that me and Brian had a look at website 1 yesterday evening, and we played around with staging, did a series of rollbacks and tests, and I was checking the logs from Paper Trail, and we ended up actually we ended up lowering the amount of processes that can be run simultaneously from 3 to 1. and thought that could, solve the problem on production.
Right.
It did for a while, but then I started encountering a lot of errors again. So what I did eventually, I rolled back to I did roll back production to approximately a month ago.
Yes.
So we have some old code on production.
Yeah, I was seeing, but it does all seem to be all more stable overall, which was the
yes. Right now everything is stable. So and me and Brian were perhaps not on the exact same page on what this was, why this was happening. But the thing is that on staging now I have the same database. I made a replica, of the production database, and.
Yes.
And since we had those theories that it could be, the way we access the members index page or, some other pages and stuff like that. But at the end, when I rolled back everything that had to do with Hangouts,
yes,
things are running smoothly. So
okay. Well, clearly,
and I also set that the processes to 3 back up to on production. So it must be something with that. So we have to
More investigation required, obviously. Yeah. Okay. Good show. And so, plans for the day? Anything blocking you?
No, I have some problems with some tests, basically with some active controller URL generation error, but I'll figure that out. I'm just and hopefully I set up a pairing session this afternoon. Now, perhaps after this scrum or within an hour or something. So
good show.
Perhaps I can pull some of the new guys in or something.
Yeah, well, very well done. Addressing the performance issues, and also greeting the AV102 people. That's great. And I was going to say, did you take the initiative to invite people who were signed up to the course into the Slack? Thomas?
Well, how do you mean? I mean.
Well, we've got there's like 60 people signed up for the AV102, and I saw an invite to Slack at Agile Ventures for one of my usernames. Anyway, one of the things we need to do is to make sure that everybody in the AV102 course gets an invite to the Slack channel.
Okay.
And
do you want me to?
I saw some emails about. Yeah, if you can do that, that's great. I wondered actually if you, from what I'd seen, that maybe you'd already done that, but it sounds like you haven't done that.
No, I haven't. No.
Yeah, but so certainly feel free to. I don't know if you're Slack. Maybe I don't know if you have Slack admin status.
I do have that. Yes.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, that's a to do.
I can do that this afternoon. No problem. I want to finish this pull request first before I do. Okay. But yeah, I can spend some time. No problem.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So then, I mean, I think that covers everything. The only other thing is this. I guess the discussion that you two guys had in the general channel the other day, and very pleasingly, I mean, Yarrow, I mean, you were saying to me, I think in individual chats that you're kind of like, okay, well, I'm happy to just be an individual developer, and fair enough, and maybe I should leave it at that. I mean, I took the liberty of, because I know that Slack actually now, at least for me, I can't scroll back to the discussion that you both had. I've kind of I copied chunks of it here. Maybe I'm opening old wounds here, I guess. There's, I think particularly for Yarrow, I don't know. I feel like there's something that we need to address here. In that, I understand, Yarrow, that you're upset about the way the decisions that Thomas has made. As I read through, well, you come, for example, as I understand it, Thomas was trying to get information from you about the Hangout connection thing. You were, here, for example, you say you could fork Hangout connection and then use it to maintain separate fork, and it would have these disadvantages. And then you're saying here that, it's like, I see that you've taken a sole decision to fork it. I mean, he's done, Thomas has done something that you suggested that he might do, that you were, and you were then saying, perhaps it would be more correct and respectful to talk to other members of Agile Ventures and other project owners of AV and consider their opinion before making this decision. Now, the thing is, I don't know if you see it as this, but by saying doing this other behavior would be respectful, you're basically saying to Thomas that he's being disrespectful, right? That's what you're saying here. Would you not agree with that statement?
Yes, Sam, but on the contrary, why are we discussing this? Why not? Why? I mean, why why have we started discussing from this matter? Why don't we discuss the matter itself?
No, well, I think the matter itself is that the way that it was set up at the moment is ultimately Thomas is responsible, for running Agile Ventures, and he's the one, like, if the servers are going down and so on, the buck stops with him. And I think that potentially it could be organized differently, and one could say we're going to have collective responsibility from like 3 or 4 or 5 people of it. I mean, with local support, the buck stops with me. I mean, that's the way that it's set up. So that, I mean, ultimately,
the question is, perhaps it would be more correct and respectful to talk to other members.
No, but I think it's not. I think Thomas was trying to talk to you about these things. He was trying to get information. I think that there's also a problem that it's not just like this is the person. Hold on, Yara. Hold on, Yara. I'm just saying this is not in a abstract concept. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say in general, I would agree. It would be fantastic, and I would love it if Thomas could work effectively with you. I think that the power of both of you put together and harnessed in the same direction would be totally awesome. I think that would be fantastic. But I think we've seen in the past already that fails, and that's not the fault of either of you independently. It's, your personality aspects and this, that, and the other. But I think that the problem that I'm particularly, like when I look at the rest of the conversation and the thing, what I see from Thomas's point of view is that he's being restrained, right? He's not accusing you of anything. He's, in previous occasions when we've had these clashes, and it's happened a number of times before, both of you have been guilty of saying, nasty, barbed things to each other, right? And that's, I think, bad for everyone. In this situation, Thomas is, he's not made any, but you're making statements like this, like, wait, let me grab the popcorn and call the other guys.
What's wrong with that, Sam? Come on, a little bit of humor.
No, well,
shall we really do all this again? And that's the kind of answer you get. And what's wrong with that?
This is the thing. Yeah, I love. Hey, I started the funniest computer ever competition. I love humor, right? I mean, exactly. I think humor is fantastic. But I think the problem is, right, using humor in the middle of a conversation with a person that you've had several antagonistic clashes with is really unfriendly and unpleasant. Like, we could be discussing the issue about, the forking the hand character. Personally, I would have preferred that Thomas didn't do that, but I am, respecting his decision to run the project, because he's the person who's got to wake up in the night and deal with those things, and that's the way that it's set up.
He never gave any explanation to me. I mean, yes, right, he restrained, but then at the same time, he ignored all of my questions.
Well, okay, all right.
Thomas, sorry to interrupt you, because I think we've got limited time here, and I want to really, you guys can carry on discussing it afterwards.
No discussions whatsoever about this anymore.
No. Okay, but
I've made my decision, and I made my decision several weeks ago. There is, and you knew that, Yaro, because you were the one that mentioned that in the Slack chat.
Thomas, let's not get into that issue here, because I think we know that you both
experimental software that is not
Thomas, please.
Anyway, you were being rude and obnoxious about things. So just stay out of my way and stay out of the Website 1 project.
Thomas, restrain yourself.
And there is no further discussion. And you can go on and on about on the channel and make life miserable for everybody else, But at the very end, you can do whatever you want to do within the framework of Agile Ventures, as long as you stay away from me, okay? And the project that I run. It's very simple.
Thomas, I think that's clear, and I think
I think
you think way too much, brother. Just stop thinking and start behaving the way you agreed upon to behave. You said in the open channel, you asked, we were all apologetic, and you said I will respect the will of Thomas, and you blah 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 blah.
And I am, Thomas, and I am.
You don't. You keep being rude and obnoxious. I never comment on your projects or anything. I could say so much about the software and the pull request you were making to Website 1, because it's shit. A lot of it is pure shit. Yes.
Okay.
And yet I do not do that in open channel.
Thomas, I'm gonna have to stop you. Like, guys, please both stop talking for a second. Like, I think that
I think it's quite obvious. This is just ridiculous. Yes, okay. Let's stop this discussion completely.
No, hold on. So I'm going to mute you both, and I'm going to let you listen to me. Okay, listen to me for a moment, right? Like, clearly the two of you don't get on, and that's fine. Thomas, I think, has been restrained. Like, Thomas makes decisions. I don't necessarily agree with all of them. The key thing, Yarrow, let's come back. It might seem like a trivial thing, right? The key thing, like this little bit of humor here, but no, the key thing here is in the general channel, in front of everybody, you're accusing Thomas of being disrespectful by making this decision. But the bottom line is that he's got to make these decisions to make the system work or not. Like, a lot of the stuff that you contributed, and I love the fact that you contributed it has caused us huge internal problems, right? I mean, that's what the evidence is pointing to, yeah? And I mean, you know, the key thing is that, you know, this is very unpleasant behavior. I don't know if you sort of see that. It seems to me like, Gary, you feel like, you know, you haven't really done very much wrong. You've taken it back, and now it's okay, and we should be one big happy family. But it's like, here you're antagonizing Thomas through this thing. You say that you've got a diploma in people management, but this is awful people behavior. You're needling him here. You know, if you've really got this, if you've got this concern that the person who's running the main Agile Ventures project is being fundamentally disrespectful, kind of like attacking him about that in the main channel, it's just unacceptable. You know, if you have serious issues like this, please bring them up with me rather than the central channel, because we end up just having this kind of free-for-all fight. Do you understand how damaging that is for all parties? Anyway, that's Yarrow. Do you want to respond to that, and then we'll wrap up. Actually, hold on, Yarrow. For some reason, I can't unmute you. But what's going on here? You might need to unmute yourself.
Yes, Sam.
Go ahead, Yarrow.
I'd like to respond to that. I mean, honestly. Right. Okay, Sam. Honestly, you know, I don't understand. If we are, if everybody is acting correctly, and if we're clear about, you know, things, what's the problem with discussing this in the general channel? I mean, at the end, you can see that I'm actually asking a question. Perhaps it would be more correct and respectful to talk to other members. You know, I'm asking a question, and if it is so, you know, if you do think it would be more correct and respectful, then why don't you reply and say, yes, you know, I think it is so, or you could reply in some other way.
You mean for me to reply?
If you reply in general channel, you know, everybody gets a very clear picture of what's going on, and that's exactly why I really don't understand why matters like this should be hidden away from others.
Well, my preference.
Just be respectful.
No, listen. But the problem here, Yarrow, listen, is that you've been so disrespectful to Thomas on so many previous occasions, right? And
arguably, Sam.
No, at least from my opinion, from Brian's opinion, from Thomas' opinion, from many, maybe there's other people who think that it's not, but
exactly,
I would say
exactly, arguably.
So the thing is,
you and Brian and Thomas, it's you three sort of judge the way I talk to Thomas. But there are other people, and you know, just consider the fact that maybe your opinion is a little bit subjective. Just consider.
Yarrow, I'm sure that my opinion is subjective, right? And I'm sure that Thomas is not perfect, and that Thomas has done things wrong, or he's done things that I wouldn't have done them in that way, right? The bottom line is, I think that, you know, I would love in general to be having all of these kind of discussions in general open, but the way that you are pursuing them, the way that we've talked about this before, the way that you are pursuing the discussions, I think is totally counterproductive, because you are needling Thomas, right? If you're gonna, like, saying, you know, people should be respectful to each other, but I think that you should also respect that Thomas is the project manager, and that ultimately, if he, you know, if his servers are not working and the system's not working, he's going to take a decision, and maybe he's not going to discuss it with you, and that's how it works, right? And I think for project management, you have to accept that. That's where these project managers are. Now, for your project going forward, if you want to make it so that you have to have a democracy and there's a majority vote for anything that happens, or however you want to have it, that is the nature of Agile Ventures, is we're going to allow individual project managers to run the projects in the way that they want, right? I know that not everybody is happy with the way that Thomas is running things, but you know, he's the one who's in the driving seat and is taking the front responsibility, and you know, I don't think that's something that we can realistically change at the moment. I know maybe you would like to change that. Maybe, you know, I talk a lot to other people individually as well, apart from Thomas and Brian. You know, they also say things to me. I think there's a lot of people who are unhappy with the way that you put, you know, consider the fact that, you know, it's not the case that Brian and Thomas and I are just completely unreasonable people, and that actually you're, you know, doing this in a really unpleasant fashion. Anyway, let's leave it there. I hope you know, like before we have any future big, you know, rumbles like this in the general channel, that maybe Yarrow or Thomas, you come to me individually first, and then we work it out, and you know, ultimately we can bring other people in. But it just creates a really, really negative mood throughout. Do you understand, Yarrow?
Yeah. Sam, I understand, of course. I understand, but you know, at the same time, I think, you know, just a simple reply would be polite. Would be polite. In the general channel. You know, just a simple, you know, sort of suggestion that, you know, let's not discuss it in general channel. Let's discuss it somewhere else. But you know, I'm just
you mean from me or from Thomas? You think that we should have suggested that there to you in general chat that you should have discussed it somewhere else? You know, at the time.
It's post factum. I sort of find out, you know, that the matters like this shouldn't be discussed.
I don't think it. Well, you know, I mean, it seems to me that, you know, it's not that matters like this shouldn't be discussed. The problem is you and Thomas, right? If someone else would bring this up and ask these questions, it would be completely different. The problem is the history that you and Thomas have of kind of attacking each other, right? And that's what makes it a problem. I would love for these kinds of issues to be discussed open and upfront. The problem is the way you do it antagonizes Thomas, right? And given your history, it just creates an unpleasant vibe. You know, if other people are concerned with this, if they, you know, these issues, then they're more than welcome to bring it up in you know, in group forums. I would love you to participate in all of the group forum discussions, but the way that you do it, you know, it's like I just find these statements to be really passive aggressive.
Okay, Sam. You know, on the matter itself. I mean, okay. Surely, you know, I can do whatever I prefer in my own project. You know, democracy and things like that. But I'm using the Agile Ventures platform, which happens to be website 1 for the project.
Sure.
And I still think it would be more correct and respectful to talk to other members and to talk to other project managers on decisions like that. So on the matter itself, I mean, do we say that this is a sole decision for the project manager of website 1? And
I would say that ultimately it is, right? I would like that Thomas, you know, for the benefit of everyone in the future of the project going forward, I would like that Thomas consults widely on any of the decisions and that he talks with me and so on. But at the end of the day, right, since he is the one who's going to be, you know, up in the night dealing with the servers if they've gone down or what have you, the final decision has to come down to someone, right? And the final decision...
What about the discussion?
Yeah, I mean, well, again, you know, there can be a discussion, and ultimately, Thomas is not required, I would say, to put off making a decision about what he does to wait for the discussion. It's clearly a good idea for him to be involved in the discussion, but I'm not going to, you know, yeah. Anyway, but that's how it is. But I think we can carry on having that discussion. But I think that you and Thomas directly interacting in the main channel is just, you know,
that's absolutely
asking for trouble. Okay, so let's give. So I've got to go. We can like take this up in future scrums. Yarrow, if we want to create a chat channel with you and Thomas, we can do that. I'm going to give Thomas would like to say something else. So
Thomas, can you say that this matter is closed, and I mean,
I hope so.
The Hangout connection is managed by website 1, and that's it.
This is the way that website 1 is being managed going forward. You know, but you know, I welcome ongoing discussion, and you know, let's just make sure that it's not the two of you doing it. Okay, so let's have a Thomas. Do you, any final words?
Yeah, just to be clear on some matters, I think that addresses the question that Yarrow just asked. And from my perspective, again, I just want to stress this. Let's keep our two projects and our, you know, existence within Agile Ventures separate, please. Let's not interact with each other for the time being. Let's say a week to a month, 2 months period, whatever. Perhaps, you know, after a while, certain things can settle down and stuff. But the way it is now, the way we have interacted, and I say mea culpa to some stuff. Yes, I've not been correct all the time, and I let my emotions take the better hand of me. But for now, in order to be able to move this project forward and move this community forward, I think it's the best for everybody if I do my thing the way I want to do it, and you, Yarrow, do your thing the way you want to do it. And please do not comment on my management style of this project, because it's unnecessary. And I promise you, Yarrow, I will not comment on your style to manage your projects. Okay, I'll not comment on anything you do on any project or your involvement in anything. As long as you just stay out of my way and the website one way, we can do probably great things, separately, but within this community. And I just want to move forward with website one, and I just want to do a good job. That's basically what I had to say.
Great, thank you, Thomas. Let's just go. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's unfortunate there. If it, like the last thing that I want to be perceived to be doing, Yarrow, is quashing debate. I think that we should have, ongoing debate, right? And please, if there are people coming to you and saying to you, "Oh, I have issues with the way website one is running," let them come and talk to me, yeah, and we will work something and we will resolve them and so on. But yeah, so that I think we're on the same page there. Yeah. Any last words, Yarrow, for this meeting?
Just a little comment. I don't mind whatsoever for commenting on any of my work, on anything that I do by whoever. I don't mind at all, because I'm very confident in what I do. That's exactly why, Thomas. If you want to come in, please do. I don't mind whatsoever.
Well, that's very generous of you, Yarrow. I mean, again, I hope that you can see that ultimately, like.
But I will restrain myself. That is no problem at all.
Okay. All right. Well, let's leave it there. This is run on. I hope we've got ourselves on the same page. Again, Yarrow, if anybody has any concerns, have them bring them up with me, and ultimately I would like to turn them into a group discussion. But I think.
No mention in the popcorn. I got it.
Well, again, like, I love humor, but in the middle of kind of like a fist fight with somebody else, being humorous can be antagonistic. So, I look forward to your humor in your interaction with myself and everybody else, but like, just, by not having interaction with Thomas, we won't have any issue like that. Okay?
Sure.
All right.
By the way, guys, if you have concerns about the code I have written, why don't you bring it up? Why is it so?
Well, I think it's been brought up before. That's a whole separate discussion. Which maybe, I mean, at some point in the future, if we've got more time, we can do a code review with you, and we can point out many of the clear flaws in the coding practices that you have. But this community is for a learning experience. This is the problem in some ways. It ends up, this discussion becomes about management things rather than about code things. Anyway, I think we must stop there for the moment, and I look forward to having that discussion in detail with you in the future.
Yeah, because the code has been through Brian's code review, and then suddenly I think it's better if there is a problem. Then why don't we talk about the problem and sort of solve it?
Well, I think we would love to, and we'd I'd really love, again, for the two of you to be working on this together. That'd be great. I think the problem is that the way that you've approached and the way that you've interacted with Thomas means that it's ultimately made it so that it's fallen down, and that the two of you can't interact. I mean, I would love for us to interact with me then. I'm sorry?
Why doesn't somebody else interact with me on this matters? I mean, why doesn't Brian talk to me about this?
It's about the amount of available time. It's about the amount of available. But no, let's Thomas now finish his detective work about what caused the whole site problem, and if we get to it and we can identify specific pieces in your code that were at fault, then I promise you a code review in which we'll go through and point out things so that hopefully you can learn from the whole thing.
And if it wasn't me and it wasn't my code?
Yeah, well, I mean, then we'll say well done for putting that code, but the independent, this is not happening because there was problems with the code that you created.
You can expect sort of at least sort of subtle apologies saying that we shouldn't be pointing your way.
Sure. I mean, we can say at the moment.
This is a joke. I mean, come on.
Hold on, Thomas. Like at the moment, what we have is we have certain evidence that suggests that there are problems with the code that you submitted, right? That's not a guarantee, but if we find that that it's somewhere else, I mean, we'll say, oh yeah, well, sorry, Yarrow, that wasn't your issue. But again, the thing that independently of whether it's your code or not code, I have here this transcript, and I have previous transcripts the bottom line is, you know, your interaction style with Thomas is unacceptable. I mean, previously I would say Thomas's interaction style with you has also been unacceptable. That's the bottom thing, and what I would like ultimately is an apology from you, you know, for this behavior, or at least an understanding that you can see how this doesn't help anyone, right?
Sam, I have apologized on several occasions.
Right, you have, but then
for this particular transcript,
yeah.
I honestly see no reason for apologizing. Okay. Honestly, like no reason whatsoever.
I see. Okay.
What did I say? Who did I accuse? You know,
you're accusing him of fundamentally disrespecting you. But,
Sam, I know you're saying that I'm accusing, but I'm actually asking a question, and you can interpret it in several ways. You know, I certainly didn't have an intention of accusing. But even if I did, the way I did it what's so bad about it?
The problem is if this would be the first time that you ever interacted with Thomas, then I think it could be understood, and we'd let it go. I think the fact that you've had this history of conflict with him means that these are very, very, very loaded statements that I think are very antagonistic. So anyway, yeah, let's leave it there, and I look forward to future reviews with you where we're looking at the code and working out how to I've been working with you. I'm trying to help you improve your people management skills. I look forward to switching over to helping you with code review skills in the future.
Sam, yeah, that's another matter. I mean, maybe there isn't really a point of trying so much improving my people management skills.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of given it as good as. I'll keep on giving you tips occasionally. We'll see.
That's okay. I mean, sure. I'm very open to any feedback, any constructive criticism. And by the way, about the code, honestly, I've been, I can't trust this, fully, but I've been hearing very unpleasant things about the code without any particular evidence. So, in any case, I would ask you dearly, once this issue is resolved, can we please go over it and, not for the sake of me sort of, helping me with my coding skills, but just to clear this matter out.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. I mean, you do of course remember.
Uncovered this way,
Yeah, you do of course remember the original issue, which is where you were allowing exceptions to fail silently, and
Sam, no, I don't. No, I don't. Because
well, you did previously. I'm not saying you're doing it now, but I'm saying that's the kind of thing that
But Sam, I have replied to this. I have replied to this about this matter. I have come to the project after several weeks of 169 course. Have never seen Ruby before.
No.
I make a mistake, but that's not exactly because
what I'm trying to give you there is evidence of me having given you specific feedback on a specific piece of code in the past, and I'm saying that I'm looking forward to being able to give you that specific feedback, once the post-mortem on these issues has been resolved.
Yeah, sure. Sure. I mean, that'd be great. At least understandable that all these.
There would be a learning experience for everyone involved. Excellent. All right. Thanks, Yarrow. Look forward to catching up with you in future scrums. Yeah, and hearing more about your projects as they evolve.
Right. Okay.
All right. Bye for now.